Welcome back. In this video, you'll see the contents of a test device file in more detail, and in particular, the pin information it contains. Last time, we opened the file for this ADC, so let's continue with that. The Buses tab in the bottom left pane is where the pins are declared, and you'll notice that pins and groups of pins get mapped to bus names. That makes code reuse easier because it allows another device with similar functionality but a different footprint or bus width to use the same code. All you need to do is edit this mapping table. I probably ought to comment at this point on how XJTag uses the term bus because you need to know it's applied to single pins as well as to groups. It's also worth noting that a pin can appear more than once in this bus list. That's because the bus list is more than just a replica of the device's pinout. It also takes into consideration how the device is used. For example, on a QSPI device, the hold and write protect pins get used as part of the data bus when in quad mode. The buses list will therefore have one bus for hold and one for write protect, but the same pins will also appear in the quad data bus. That allows a single test device file to be used, whichever mode the device is in. You'll also notice that there are two alternative names for pin 7's bus, either hold or reset. That's because this is a generic file for 8-pin SPI NOR flashes, and while some devices use that pin for reset, others use it for a hold function. By defining two buses, this one file can run with either type. While we're in this tab, let's talk about disable values, which are listed in this column here. They're relevant when you need to hold a pin on a device at a fixed value during the connection test to stop the device interfering with the test. This chip select bus, for instance, has been given a disable value of high to ensure the memory is kept disabled during the connection test. That stops it driving its outputs to ensure it won't disrupt the test. Perhaps your circuit has a regulator that needs to be kept on during the connection test. You could use a disable value for that as well to hold its enable pin in the relevant state. When needed, the most common disable values to use are high, low, or excluded. Making it excluded stops connection test from driving the net and instructs it to try to stop any logic from driving the net as well. It also tells connection test to ignore what is read back from that pin during the test. For example, if a clock is driving the net, you don't want to be checking its state because you never know what value to expect. Something else worth noting is that when a bus has multiple pins, all pins in the group get the same disable value. There's only one value per bus. These disable values form part of what's called the safe bit stream. That's the set of pin states that get applied when a JTAG chain is initialized, which happens before the connection test is run and whenever the JTAG chain is reset. Disable values persist after that initialization, but you can override them later during an XJEAS test. Moving on, there's another tab here called Configuration Variables, and I need to explain what they are. The ADC we were looking at earlier has a configurable I2C address, and you need a way to tell the system which address to use. That's done by these configuration variables. When you come to categorize the ADC with this library file, you can see there's a drop-down menu that allows you to select the required value. This ADC also has options for its voltage reference. There's a checkbox that allows you to switch between using the internal one and an external one, and if you're applying an external reference, there's a box here to enter the value you're using. And there's some other configurations to set as well. What you're asked for when you categorize the device is all set up in the Configuration tab of the test device file. Here's the ADC's file, and you can see the settings you were asked to configure when you were categorizing the device. In the 7th video of this series, I'll show you how to set them up as part of creating your own test devices. Now, though, we're ready to start looking at the scripting language that's used for the test functions. It's called XJEAS, and it's worthy of a video in itself, so that's the focus for the next one in the series. Watch it now, and you'll get an overview of the syntax, keywords, and flow control that are used.